Mel Gibson recently did a podcast. I've got 2 short clips to play, and he is concerned. He's now kind of become something of an indie filmmaker and in the midst of making a movie. And I'm going to share 2 clips. Let me show you this one here, where he talks about what's been happening in Hollywood.
I've seen this.
We've reported a number of stories about how production has left California, and the difficulties that people below the line people have in getting work. Here's what he has to say in one clip here.
One of the studio lots out here,
Yeah.
right outside the car here, and it's just dead. I mean, there's no one there. Everything is empty. There's not even anyone really walking around. What do you think is going on here?
Yeah, well, it was like that when I left to come over to Italy to work on film, and it was already like an episode of the Twilight Zone. You know, places were deserted, and for more than one reason. What's going on there? Well, the industry is dying there. You're seeing some kind of atrophy, and from which it may or may not recover. And I think there are many causes for that, you know.
He'll go on in this, but what do we? I mean, he's really saying out loud the things that we've been talking about for a while. That it's I don't know that production will ever come back to California. What are you guys' thoughts?
Well, he's saying like you said, what we've all been saying, man. The thing is, like, for the longest time now, people in Hollywood, I mean, talent in Hollywood who don't agree with all this bullshit, they've had to sit in silence, right? They've had to sit with the threat of them never working again if they say the wrong thing or back the wrong person or whatever. So, yeah, this industry kind of crushed itself, man. And if you're on the outside looking in, you know, if you're a filmmaker from any other country, you know, Hollywood doesn't have the shine it used to have. Right. If I'm another country, I'm thinking, hey, you know what? We could start our own Hollywood. We could start making our own movies. Right.
Well, here's some more.
I think a lot of them are.
Here's a little bit more. And then I've got another clip.
Mainly, I mean, I'll give you an example. I wanted to shoot for a day in Los Angeles to do a reshoot on a film that I'd done, which I had to shoot in Vegas because that was more cost effective. And the tax incentives there weren't even that great. I would think like 15% or something, but it was still easier and more cost effective to shoot in Nevada. But I had to do a reshoot on there, and I thought, well, it's only a day shoot. I'll pick it up here in Los Angeles. And it was cheaper, more cost-effective to fly the entire American crew, buy them air tickets, fly them to Bulgaria, house them, feed them for 3 days, and do the shooting there for 3 days rather than to just shoot for 1 day locally in Los Angeles where they all lived.
Yep. That's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's unsustainable, man. That is unsustainable. How do you sustain an industry like that? You don't. That's crazy.
Aren't they saying that's what happened with the budget on One Battle After Another too? That he filmed over there and basically that's why it was like sky high. I had heard some statements of people guessing that was the case at least, and it wouldn't surprise me because the budget was super high on it. So
there was a clip of Rob Lowe. He did a game show, and it was cheaper to not shoot it in Los Angeles on a soundstage, but fly the cast, the crew, and the contestants to Ireland and shoot it there.
I mean, that's the real problem with the industry is that Los Angeles is a city that it takes production for granted. You can't go anywhere where in one city you might only need one police officer on a set. In LA, you need 4. You know, everybody's got their hands out. There's permit costs. The costs to rope off neighborhoods or things like that are extraordinarily high. I mean, I produced a movie in Bulgaria, and it was incredible working there. The crews are great. 5 languages are spoken on set. And it was a horror film that we were LA based. We were going to shoot it in LA, but when it became a Warner Brothers movie, the choice was South Africa or Bulgaria to make the movie.
Wow.
And there is no way, even with all the tax incentives, there's no way you can bring production back to Los Angeles because the union fees, all it's an impossibility. It's like everything else in California. It's just too expensive. The taxes are too expensive. There's no way you can bring production back here.
Which is insane though, because it is a major product of that state. You know what I mean? It is like, seriously, like it is a major product of California, and you're not even allowing them to do their business there. Like I don't know if it's too late. I don't know, like if it could probably change, you know, once you guys get Gavin Newsom out of there and a few other people. But it's insane that, you know, your state's product is something that you cannot, you know, fully, you know, take advantage of, you know, when, like, what else do you have going on?
Well, to
like
be
California
fair,
has nothing really else going on outside of the film business.
To be fair,
they
Rob,
had Silicon Valley was also, but they're starting to leave.
But even they're moving now.
Reasons. Yeah, that's what I'm
even
saying.
they're
Like
not
you
the
had
same.
those,
So I mean,
you had the vacationers, and because we got great weather, we got all. You're right. You're 100% right, Dante. Like it's going to be almost impossible. I don't know how you get through the unions, because that to me is the big issue. You know, and once the unions, it's kind of hard to unwind all of this stuff that the unions have been getting. You know, when it comes to the amount of, like Rob is saying, like if you need one cop, that'll do. No. The unions say that you have to have this many people on, and you have to have it. And so, how do you unwind all of that? How do you get the unions to give all of that up? You don't.
Yeah, well, you burn it down,
so basically,
and then you rebuild
end
it.
up in Bulgaria.
Well,
Is what happens. You end up in
to
Bulgaria.
be
and
fair,
Ireland.
Rob, to be fair, 4 female cops equals 1 cop. But I have one more clip to play. One more clip. Let's watch this. Here we go.
You know, all of these people, like you mentioned, the people who get the coffee, the people who work on the lots, the people who drive the cars. I mean, is it upsetting to you on a personal level to see this happening?
Yes, it is, because these are people that you befriend. And look, everyone is important in that industry. I mean, the person that puffs your makeup up, and the guy that puts the lights up, and the grip, and the dolly grips and all that stuff, camera guys. I mean, the director is merely a traffic cop, and he adjudicates and judges, what parts of people's talents he wants to use. And those people are they're not being served at all. It's untenable, I think, to live with the cost of living the way it is in California at the moment, and with an industry that's like just, the governor did not ever level the playing field. So the other states like Atlanta and all these other, Texas, everybody, they're taking the work. So, and that's okay. I'm happy for them, because now they're figuring out how to do it well. And the industries are sort of booming over there.
Well, what are you guys' thoughts on this? And
Mel sounds good. He doesn't sound manic. He sounds pretty sorted.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
sober,
just, it's, I think, Rob, we have friends who have these jobs. There's like someone does the dry cleaning on a studio lot. That's a job. And those jobs, the small below the line jobs, they're going away. They're not available. And that's just going to collapse.
Well, the entire city's collapsing, because it's not just the people that work in production, it's where they spend their money.
Right.
Restaurants, bars, like you said, dry cleaners. I mean, going through Hollywood is like being in a ghost town, unless you're going to Runyon Canyon, where the last people who are surviving go to hike. I mean, it's a really weird. This is we're like Detroit was, and now the way Detroit is, having lost, in the car industry when things changed, and unfortunately, everything about movies has changed. Their value in our culture has changed. Young people, they're not the driving force in entertainment that they used to be. User-generated content on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, and then they're never going to come back. I mean, I've said to people that movies were the great art form of the 20th century. They're still going to exist. But for how long? In 5 years, everybody's going to be able to make a feature film on their computer overnight. And we're going to be sharing those.
Most people don't have a DVD player, Blu-ray player. They don't have a physical media player. Most people don't anymore,
unless it's a game console.
Yeah,
right. Unless it's like PS5 or something, right? So yeah, the significance of movies now, it's almost becoming like a lost art, right? Like just an old art form that I think within the next 15 years. I do think we're going to see the death in the movie theater. I really do.
Oh,
again,
that's an inevitability.
That's not even doom or gloom. That's just me being, realistic. We're going to see the end of the movie theater, at least in the way that we know it. Like there'll be boutique theaters and everything, but
the thing that seems odd to me about a lot of this is I'm hearing that, I mean, obviously this is happening in LA, but I'm hearing that even where they were filming in other places here in the States, like where they were filming a bunch of stuff in Atlanta, they've pulled out of there too. So like, it almost seems like the industry is kind of screwing the US in general out of all the work, because I'm hearing that the same stuff's happening in Atlanta, where all of the stuff got built up from all the Disney filming and Marvel and all that stuff. And then now everybody's also out of work there.
They went to
they
the
bounced
UK.
to the UK, I think, right?
Right.
That's
So
right.
it's like, what
I
are they
was
even doing?
I was at Dragon Con on a panel about filmmaking, directing, and it was all guys who had worked at Marvel, at the studios, there in Atlanta, and it's all gone. It's dead. It was a trend for a while, and then it's over.
Except
all in the UK.
Tyler Perry's facility.
Right.
Well, true.
But even
he
he's
stopped.
contracting. He's
Yeah,
pulling
so-
back as well.
And because of AI, he stopped building that big studio add-on that he had.
Yeah.
Well, Mel, I've seen the whole podcast with, and we'll do a link in the description to this. He doesn't go that hard, but he keeps talking about the leadership in California, and we all know what that means. And they've done nothing business-wise to help all these, and it's affecting, like Rob, you mentioned restaurants, and because people that are below the line making money spend money. Lucy's El Adobe across the street.
Oh, don't talk.
From Paramount.
that's sad.
I remember the taste of the salsa. It's one of the great Mexican restaurants in LA. It closed. And
the
that's
cast
where
of the original Star Trek series would go there for lunch. Same with Next Generation.
it was such a great, iconic, one of those old school, family owned, grizzled. The bartenders barely spoke English, which I love. It's authentic.
And they had the great outdoor patio in the back.
Oh,
where
the
parking
outdoor
lot was.
patio. It was
Remember
great.
during COVID, we
Oh.
lost like 50% of all food, like a little bit more than that, and they just
Yeah.
never recovered because half
Hey,
those
is it-
places were barely fucking hanging on to begin with.
Look,
that's
isn't
the
Mel
result.
what you're saying is we know the reason why Hollywood is failing. We know the reason why LA is failing. We're just not willing to do anything about it or even talk about it.
hey, we had a chance, right? We had a chance when we had that special election to get a certain guy out of there, and
Yes,
and
lizard person.
and what happened? People voted for him.
Isn't Mel Gibson one of the ambassadors that Trump
Yeah.
put together for the
Yes,
film
Yeah.
industry?
yes.
And
didn't
so, Mel,
Mel-
what are you doing, baby? Let's go. Be an ambassador, man.
Yeah, and
Save
didn't
it.
Mel's
Let's talk
house
about it.
burn down during the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He
Yeah.
talks about that in the interview. It's really he does the lightest criticism. I think he wants to be. He's definitely. I'm not saying he's playing it safe. He's
I
calling
think he's
things
sober
out.
these
Biting
days,
the
so
hand
he's,
that-
Yeah.
he's a little bit more
being-
measured. Yeah,
He's being diplomatic, but it's a great interview, and it's. I hope more people like Mel speak out, because a lot of my friends are not only leaving the state, going to places like Colorado. Why would you want to live there? I don't know.
I know. What the hell?
What the
Sorry,
hell
Mel
is
just needs to
Colorado, man?
You know
His
what?
passion
It's
of
not
the
as
Christ
cold as I
too.
thought it would be.
Chris,
so.
in Fort
It will
Collins,
get
Colorado,
I know.
there's like 300 distilleries in and around Fort Collins, Colorado. It's
Well,
incredible.
there you go.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
By the way,
Colorado's
snow is not
beautiful.
cold in any way.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, I hope more people speak out. And it's sad that people have not. Look, I would agree with Billy Bob Thornton. I'm a radical moderate. I just see what's going on. I say, here's a problem. We can, but people are so tribal when it comes to voting that they don't change no matter what. So here we are, and this is where things stand. And I'm not sure it's going to turn around. Honestly, I do think Hollywood is going to be a shell of itself. It's certainly not a product that exports well anymore. Look at the box office receipts for Marvel films. They're not playing overseas like they used to, not in China at least. So
But I think what people aren't saying,
the people
the history of Los Angeles, it's the history of Hollywood that is going to go away, because once people start moving out, no one's going to protect these monuments.
And I was going to say the people who suffer the most are the people who are below the line, right?
Yep.
I mean, yeah, some directors, some actors might suffer a little bit, but it's all the below the line people who are getting hit the hardest. So